In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can add cool CSS mask effect on images. Now, as you can see here, I have this circle that's basically following my cursor, and here I have an image. So when I enter on top of this image, we can see the size of the circle increases, and through this mask circle, we can see another image, which is pretty cool. So this is what we're going to be building in this video. The source code of this is in the description, so you guys can download it, play along. So without a delay, let's get started and let's learn to build this. So here I'm in my index.html file where I have some HTML and some CSS. Now this is a follow-up video of my last week's tutorial wherein I showed you guys how you could mask text, one text on top of the other using CSS mask image. So we're going to be using some similar logic, but this time we're going to be doing that for images. So here I have two divs, same as the previous video, OG div with image and mask div with image. And then both the OG and the mask along with the body have the width and height same for the entire screen to cover the entire screen, and the content within is placed at the center using split flex. We don't have any overflow, so we have overflows hidden. The background is this, and we've given a strictly a fixed width and height just so that it makes our life easier when we overlap the image. So if I show you, this is how these get rendered on the screen. The next thing that we want to do is we want to set the OG and the mask both as position absolute just so that they're on top of each other. And when we do that, the mask comes on top and the OG is behind. And yeah, now the next thing that we want to do is we want to add mask image. So we add mask image of the circle image that we used in our previous video. And then we add a background and a mask repeat of no repeat. Now, if I don't add a background and a mask repeat, you'd see that we can see the red image, or basically the mask image, through a circle, and then the circle again starts repeating right after it ends. So we need the no repeat here. And when I save that, you can see that it's pretty big in size, so we need to shrink down the size of the mask. So we use a CSS variable. Now, we're going to be using a CSS variable. The reason for that is because in JavaScript, it's fairly easy to manipulate or change the value of CSS variables instead of like triggering these properties. So we're going to be using CSS variables, and the value for this would be 20 pixels. So when I save that, the mask is somewhere at the very top, which is top 0, which is x0 and y0. So there's that. Now, when we start off, we don't want this to be showing up. We want this to be hidden. So we want mask position. So we have this CSS variable. So initially, the mask x would be negative 50 pixels and mask y would be negative 50 pixels as well. So we want both of these to be off screen, not getting shown. Only when we start moving our mouse, we want this to follow along. And then we want to have pointer events to none since we don't want any event listener getting triggered on the mask. Now we add JavaScript to make these actually work. So the JavaScript, we grab the mask and the OG. We add two different mask sizes. One is small, which is 20 pixels, and another one is 250. Initially, when you start off, the size of the circle would be smaller. Now, only when you enter the image, it would increase in size. So we would basically change the current size to mask large. And when you move your mouse, we want to trigger something. So we have this event listener. When you use GSAP, we're going to target the mask, and we change the mask X and mask Y values. Now these values get changed to our current mouse's position, which is client X and client Y. And when it's save, we can see that as we move our mouse, this mask basically follows along. And on top of this image, when we go, you can see that through this small circle, we can see the image behind. But there's one issue. The circle is not strictly at the center of our cursor. So what we have to do is we have to just subtract it with the size of half of the size of the circle. And now we also need to specify the mask size variable, basically the size of the mask, which is the current size in this case. But only when we enter the image of the OG, we want the current size to increase to the large size. And when I enter, you can see that we have this image. We have this mask increasing in size, but when we exit or when this mouse leaves, we want this to basically go back to 20 pixels or the small size. So we have to again add the mouse leave event listener on the image, and we set it as the mask small. And now when we enter, exit, the size basically change. We need a bit of a duration and ease effect, so let's just add that as well. And with that, this effect is complete. Looks pretty nice. It's a pretty cool way of having the user interact with images. And this is pretty nice in case you want to add some before and after effects. So also you could use this effect on that. So this is it for this video. The source code is going to be down in the description so you guys can download and play with that. Meet you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, and peace.